In our ancient stories, we often hear about the concept of Rinanubanda. This is a beautiful idea that explains the connections we have with others. It suggests that our relationships are not random. They are born from debts and bonds from our past lives. When we meet a saint, a guru, or a holy person, this is not a simple coincidence. It is the fruit of good deeds or punya that we have accumulated over many lifetimes. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, arranges these sacred encounters. They are opportunities for us to grow spiritually, to find answers to our deepest questions, and to move closer to the divine. Think of it as a spiritual inheritance, a gift we receive because of our past efforts. Chapter 21 of the Sai Satcharitra explores this very idea. It shows us that finding a true Sadguru like Sai Baba is a sign of immense good fortune. Many people search for spiritual guidance their entire lives and never find it. Others stumble upon it seemingly by chance. But is it really chance? The Satcharitra tells us no. It is a divine appointment. Our souls carry a balance sheet of actions, and when the time is right, when our good karma ripens, we are led to the feet of a master. This meeting is meant to help us settle our spiritual debts, not with money, but with devotion, service, and love. It is the beginning of a transformative journey, guided by a compassionate hand. The stories in this chapter beautifully illustrate this principle. We see individuals from different walks of life, with different problems and desires, all being drawn to Shirdi. They come seeking worldly solutions, but they find something far more valuable, a path to inner peace and liberation. It is as if an invisible thread connects their past actions to their present encounter with Sai Baba. Their longing for truth, their sincerity, and their past merits create the right conditions for this sacred meeting to occur. This reminds us that our spiritual journey is a long one, spanning many births, and meeting a saint is a significant milestone on that path. So when we read about these devotees, we are not just reading stories. We are witnessing the unfolding of destiny. We are seeing how the law of karma works in the spiritual realm. The grace of a saint is a powerful force, but it often flows to those who are ready to receive it. This readiness is built over time through countless acts of kindness, prayer, and a sincere desire for truth. The Satcharitra encourages us to believe that if our hearts are pure and our intentions are good, we too will be guided. The universe conspires to bring us to the source of wisdom when we are prepared to drink from it. A fascinating idea in Indian spirituality is that all true saints and masters are connected. They are not in competition with each other. Instead, they are like different lamps lit from the same divine flame. They may have different names, different forms, and different ways of teaching, but their core mission is the same: to guide humanity towards light and truth. They work in perfect unison, often behind the scenes, to help their devotees. A devotee may start their journey with one saint and be guided to another, all as part of a larger divine plan. This is not a transfer of loyalty, but a continuation of the same spiritual lesson. The story of Mr. B.V. Thakur from this chapter is a perfect example of this sacred collaboration. Mr. Thakur was a devoted reader of spiritual texts. He had studied many books, including the Jnaneshwari. However, his knowledge was intellectual, confined to the pages of the books. He met a saint named Appa in his town, who advised him to not just read, but to practice what he read. Appa knew that Mr. Thakur's spiritual growth required a different kind of master. He could have kept Mr. Thakur as his own disciple, but he selflessly guided him, knowing that Sai Baba was the one who could provide the final push. This shows the humility and interconnectedness of true saints. When Mr. Thakur finally arrived in Shirdi, Sai Baba welcomed him with words that revealed this hidden connection. Baba mentioned the bhajan at Appa's place and the conversation they had, even though he was physically far away in Shirdi. This was a miracle that showed Mr. Thakur that saints operate on a level beyond our normal understanding. They are all part of one single consciousness. Sai Baba was reinforcing the lesson that his journey was not a random series of events, but a carefully guided process. Appa had planted the seed of seeking, and Sai Baba was there to help it sprout. This teaches us a profound lesson about faith. We should not get caught up in the external differences between gurus or spiritual paths. The essence of their teaching is one: Whether we pray to Rama, Krishna, or follow the path of a saint like Sai Baba, we are ultimately praying to the same universal energy. The saints themselves see this unity. They work together, sometimes sending a devotee from one to another, to ensure the devotee gets exactly what they need for their spiritual evolution. Their love is universal, and their goal is our ultimate well-being and liberation. Many people believe that reading holy books and scriptures is enough to achieve enlightenment. They spend years studying complex philosophies and memorizing verses, thinking that this intellectual knowledge will bring them peace. The story of Anantrao Patnakar from Pandharpur challenges this idea directly. Anantrao was a learned man, well-versed in spiritual texts. He had read the Vedas and other scriptures, yet his mind was restless. He was filled with anxiety and could not find the inner calm he was searching for. His story shows us that knowledge without practice, without devotion, is like a boat without a rudder. It can go nowhere. Anantrao's journey to Shirdi was a quest for a practical solution. When he met Sai Baba, he did not receive a complex philosophical lecture. Instead, Baba gave him simple, direct advice. He told him about the 9 forms of devotion, known as Navavidha Bhakti. These are not abstract concepts, but practical ways to connect with the divine. They include media group, person listening to spiritual story, group singing devotional songs, person chanting with prayer beads at distribute _equally, listening to stories of God, singing God's praises, remembering God's name, serving the Master's feet, offering worship, bowing to all beings, developing a sense of servitude, feeling friendship with God, and finally, complete self-surrender. This was the medicine Anantrao needed. Sai Baba's teaching here is incredibly profound. He is showing that the path to peace is not through the head, but through the heart. Intellectual pride can be a great obstacle on the spiritual path. It makes us think we know everything, when in reality we have experienced nothing. True transformation happens when we engage our emotions, our actions, and our entire being in the practice of devotion. Chanting a name, serving others, or simply remembering God with love can quiet the mind in a way that no amount of book learning can. It is a path of feeling and experiencing, not just thinking. Therefore, the lesson from Anantrao's story is to move from knowledge to wisdom, from theory to practice. It is good to read and learn, but we must apply those teachings in our daily lives. We must cultivate a heart full of love and devotion. True peace is not a puzzle to be solved by the intellect. It is a state of being that arises naturally when we surrender our ego and connect with the divine through simple, heartfelt practices. Sai Baba reminded Anantrao and all of us that the simplest path of devotion is often the most powerful one. The final story in this chapter is short, but carries a very important message about our conduct. It involves a pleader, a lawyer, from Pandharpur. This man had a bad habit of gossiping and speaking ill of others. When he came to Shirdi, he started criticizing the management of the Pandharpur temple, where another one of Sai Baba's devotees, Shama, served. He did not realize that in the presence of a saint, even our thoughts and words are noticed. Nothing is hidden from a true master. His casual criticism was a reflection of an impurity in his heart. Sai Baba, in his unique and gentle way, decided to teach the pleader a lesson. He did not scold him harshly or embarrass him publicly. Instead, he called Shama and began to tell a story. He spoke of a wealthy man who had a beautiful horse, but also a terrible disease. The man's body was full of sores and he suffered greatly. As Baba described the man's suffering, he looked pointedly at the pleader. The pleader understood immediately. The story was a metaphor for his own condition. His habit of slander was the disease, and it was causing him spiritual suffering, even if he was not aware of it. This incident teaches us about the importance of watching our speech. The tongue is a powerful instrument. It can heal and it can harm. Speaking ill of others, judging them, and spreading gossip pollutes our own minds and creates negative karma. It distances us from the divine. A person who seeks spiritual growth must first learn to control their tongue. Purity of speech is a reflection of purity of heart. When we stop finding fault in others, we can start working on our own faults. This is a fundamental step in any spiritual practice. In conclusion, chapter 21 of the Satcharitra is a treasure trove of practical wisdom. It reminds us that meeting a saint is a gift of destiny, earned through past merits. It reveals the beautiful unity among all saints who work together for our upliftment. Most importantly, it teaches us that true spiritual progress comes not from intellectual knowledge alone, but from the sincere practice of devotion, controlling our senses, and purifying our speech. By learning from our mistakes and following the simple yet profound guidance of a master like Sai Baba, we can find the lasting peace and happiness that our souls long for.